Welcome to the Colourful Creativity podcast. My name is Kralalien and this is episode 183. You can find me online everywhere as Kralalien. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Ravelry, Patreon, Kralalien, everywhere. I also have a web shop, colourfulcreativity.com or colourfulcreativity.nl, but it's currently closed. Yeah, hi, it's me. It's been a while. I just checked. I think the last time I recorded was back in April or something, about 7 months ago. And yeah, even though most looks the same, nothing is the same. Everything is different. Most of you know why my hiatus was that long. Robbert, my husband, passed away in July, and yeah, that kind of throws you off for a while. It still does. I have no clue if I'm going to be consistently back, but I was like, if I want to do something, I can start here, and if this recording doesn't go up, nobody will know. And if it does go up, well, I hope, well, to give you some time with me. And I know a lot of you always enjoyed my videos and knitting while watching me, having a cup of tea with me. See, I have a cup of tea as well. Let's take a sip before it's cold. So yeah, I was just trying to get back on the horse, something like that. I don't know. I can go into detail, I cannot do it. I don't know. I'll just save it to the end. Stick with my regular format. Binks is out of practice because he's still sleeping. Apparently he doesn't want to. I don't know. He forgot probably the whole drill. I don't know. I'll be starting with some finished objects. There is a lot. I mean, 7 months, and there have been quite a lot of acquisitions, and there have been gifts that people sent me, and all in due time. I'm just gonna start with the now, because that is what is present in my head and next to me, and what I can reach. I have a few things I want to show you that were from April, and this is the first of it. This is the Brioche Bandana Cowl by Lavanya, Patricella. Drat. I just looked it up and my brain is just Lavanya Patti. My goodness. Patricella. That is it. Fingering Brioche Bandana Cowl. And this I knit as a sample for the craft circle, the market I was vending back in May 25th. And let me put it on for you. Let's not smear it with lipstick. It's really nice. It is a bit loose, so I will actually wear this. I really love it. I knit it in my soft sock base, so it is really nice and soft. And the colorways are Obnoxious, Coral and Razzle, Dazzle. So really, really neon. And yeah, I really love it. You can also wear it inside out because that's the fun of Brioche. And then it looks like this. And yeah, these are my favorite summer colors. I really, really love that coral. I'm very happy I finally managed to dye my perfect shade of coral. And that's why it's called Obnoxious Coral, because it was really, really difficult to get there. So I finished this April 30th. And basically after the craft circle, all hell broke loose here and my knitting mojo took a hit, and all I managed to knit in 6 months basically were these two that I had already started and I think only needed the foot or maybe a heel, but in 6 months time I knit like probably a heel and 2 feet on these socks, and I managed to make them too short. So they will not get a partner. They were stall samples for the craft circle, and I had just cast on and did the cuff so people could see how the yarn knit up. I think this one is called Unicorn Tail, but it was the yarn in the rainbow box, and I am going to make it a regular colorway, and it is not self-striping, it is just pooling really well. It looks really nice when it pulls the right way. It can also do the magic goes all the way pooling, but for me it went with striping in that sock. And this is bright side, or on the bright side, and this is the brighter version of No Rainbows Without Rain, so all neons. And yeah, I managed to make them too short, so I was too anxious to start the toe, and that didn't help my knitting mojo either. Like, when you then actually finish something, I would have liked 2 pairs of shorties, but no energy to go back, take out the toe and knit a bit longer, and also I don't really care because they are shop samples. It's fine. I don't even have, yeah, I have more of the yarn, but not the skeins that I was knitting that from, because I gifted them to a friend, and she was very happy with that. It was caked up and everything, so ready to go for her, and she was fine with skeins with a little bit less because she doesn't need a full skein, she said. So then a lot happened. I really didn't do any crafting at all. I think I did those in April or something. No, I started them in May, and somewhere in August, September-ish, I finished them, and that was basically it. I also started something else, which I will show you later, in August, and it was so slow going. And then came September, and later in September things shifted a little bit. I made plans for October, and I went to visit friends in Finland in October, and it was the best time I've had in a long time. It was okay if I cried, it was okay if I needed time for myself alone, it was fine if I needed a hug. Everything was okay, and we had an amazing time, and that's when my knitting mojo started to come back again. So playing games there, I finished a sock. That project is still in Finland though, so I cannot show you. It's a work in progress that didn't fit in my suitcase anymore because I had too many souvenirs. And yeah, I left it there, and it will come in January when my friends visit me. But also I worked on these. I had one done. This one was a stall sample for the craft circle, because I sell those Schoppel Zauberballs and also the neutral hand-dyed, well, undyed yarn. This is soft sock together with a Schoppel Zauberball crazy and a little black leftover of something that was in my stash. The pattern is called Purrfect Mischief by Chimpy and the Woolies, and it's just so much fun. Those stripes basically knit themselves, and definitely were what ignited my knitting mojo. So I finished these the end of October. So 6 months after my last finish, the cowl, I finally feel like the mojo is back. So here we have awesome socks, and you can see the difference what blocking does. This one's blocked, this one not. You can see the heel flap is still frumpy and the foot is a bit, yeah, folded. But here you can see my color is in need of some blocking, but it's not too bad. I think it's still very neat. So very happy with these and very happy I can wear them. They are on the big side because I knit them with 72 stitches instead of my regular 64, because they were intended for Robbert, but he couldn't get them over his heel. And I was like, well, fine, I'll knit them for me. So I have a bit bigger floppy socks. I like my socks nice and tight, but oh well, I will enjoy these because I do love them. So, finished objects. Oh, I knit those on 2.5mm needles. The designer says 2.25, but with color work, I like to go with 2.5, and maybe I should have done 2.25 for the rest, but the first one was a sample and I wasn't even sure if I was gonna knit a second one. But since it was there and the other one was already finished, I was like, oh, this is something nice to pick up and maybe get back to knitting again. I haven't even told you what I'm wearing. This is my Kurdag cardigan by Carol Feller, which I knit back in 2022. And I haven't worn it much, but I took it with me on vacation in Finland because I was like, well, I'll be somewhere without cats. And they do have a dog, but they don't climb up on you or something. At least this one doesn't. So I was like, okay, I can wear that. And I haven't put it away since then. And I've been wearing it even though the cats are back home. And it's actually quite nice to wear it. So I can actually manage the not so soft. Well, actually, it is kind of soft. It's not the itchy kind of wool. It's a German merino. And yeah, I really like it. So what's next? Works in progress, I guess. Let's start with the project. I started back in August in this bag I got from my friend Francesca. In here is a completely new hobby or craft that I learned, and it is Tunisian crochet. And yeah, it's kind of far ahead already and should be okay to finish sometime. Marike of Solace in Stitches messaged me back in August that she made a shawl. This shawl pattern, and it is called the Two of Us shawl pattern, and she used my yarn to make it. And she then also put in a dedication to Robbert. So I'll be showing you this. Here is the dedication. I'm not gonna read it because it will make me cry. Every time I read it, it does. And it is so kind of her to do that. This is still a test version. The layout on the front looks a little bit different in the final version, but I haven't printed that one out yet. It is named because of Two of Us by the Beatles, the song. And yeah, that dedication is just the best. So kind of you, Marike. Thank you so much for that. But that meant that I really really wanted to try and learn to do Tunisian crochet. So I started to do that in August, and by the end of August I finally got a bit of hang of it, or at least some brain space to actually look at a YouTube video and how does it work. And I had my stuff together. I ordered needles from AliExpress, a set with cables. Before that I had 2 long needles earlier this year already, and they would probably be too short for the amount of stitches I have. It could be really bunched up, but I was like, no, I don't like that. So I ordered the set with the cable. It wasn't very expensive, like 35 euros or something. So, and they were the only ones that carried metal. I would have gone for something closer by or anything, but they all have wooden or bamboo needles, and I know what I do with wood or bamboo. I break them, especially when I'm learning a new technique. I am too scared to break them, and yeah, give me metal. I just like my metal needles. So I am halfway. Marika started the test in September, and since I had already started, I was like, okay, well, I'll test it with you, with the group. And I did manage, with just a few days late, to get to the halfway point. And then came October and was all frantic with lots of stuff and appointments and vacation to Finland and even more vacation. So yeah, Marika told me every time, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm behind. You are not behind, you are there where you need to be. It is fine. The other testers were ready in a week, some of them, and I was like, I can't make it, and that is fine. So the pattern came out just 2 weeks ago. So if you want it, I will put a link down below, of course, in the show notes. It is beautiful. It has a very nice detailed edge. So it is using the simple stitch, and it is also using the knit stitch. The edge is knit stitches and this is a simple stitch. I think that's what it's called. I'm not even sure anymore. And I have to figure out now how to decrease stitches so I can do the second half. And that's not difficult. I just need time and brain space, and that's currently not something I have at the same time, which sucks, but is part of grief and everything that happened. The yarn I'm using is, of course, my own. This is Razzle Dazzle on Smooth Sock, and this is Dance with the Waves on Yak Sock. So I went with the luxurious way and used Yak Sock for this. I was like, this is gonna be something for me, and I really love how it looks. So it's really fun, and I'm pretty sure that once I finish, I will actually wear this a lot, because it's a long and narrow shawl, so it's not a lot here. Like some other shawls, like the really big slankets you have. You can see Marika with hers, the sample. Come on, you can focus on it. You can do this. You're out of sorts too. There you go. And she used, let me go and check which colorways she used. I think it's in here. She used Soft Sock. Yeah, Soft Sock in Aster and Quirky Rainbow. And Aster is a color I think I don't have anymore, but the shop is closed anyway, so it's not like it really matters. I do not know when I will reopen the shop. Not this year. That is for certain. With December coming, I'm like, no. let me survive that first. Another project that some of my long-term viewers may remember, in this bag with glow-in-the-dark ghosts. I think it's from Jibiroo Sews. Yes, it is. Jibiroo. Yeah, there you go. In here is a project I started in 2018 and that I basically only work on when I travel. It is my Viajante by Martina Behm, and it has grown a bit because it was very nice and mindless in the round knitting in the airplane to Finland, and basically I managed all that, and it doesn't look like a lot, but this is lace weight and a lot of stitches, and you keep increasing and decreasing a little bit, but less than you increase, so it's a lot. It's a lot. And I noticed my ball of yarn is not that big anymore, but I have a second skein that I was like, oh crap, where did I put that? And I found it. I just need to cake it, but I don't like caking yarn. It's a lot of work, especially with 800 meters of lace weight. Let me see. Yes, I do have the label here, and I don't think it exists anymore, but this is Kremke Sol Wool Jacuzzi, which is 50% yak and 50% silk, 800 meters in 100 grams. And I have 2 of those skeins, so I have a lot of knitting to go. Let's see, the pattern is in here. It is getting a little frumpled, as you can see, after 7 years of travel and being shoved in bags and such. Here, I think this will make it visible how it looks. You can wear it as a cape or a cowl or a shawl or anything. And Viajante is traveler in Portuguese, so that is why I use it as travel knitting. And there is a yarn cozy in here, and it is by Fräulein Fröbel, also known as the Navy Knitter. I think she has new labels now, because this ball of yarn definitely gets a lot of tossing around, so I wanted it to stay in place and everything. Needles I'm using on this is bamboo, 3.75 millimeter hiatus, because it goes into airplanes and bamboo seems to be safer. I do also take my socks and stuff and high sharps into an airplane, which I've never had any issues with, but also because it's slippery yarn, sometimes it's nicer to work with the bamboo, and sometimes I switch them out for the metal needles, but currently they are on the bamboo version. Not sure. Somehow I really enjoyed knitting on it, so I want to knit more on it, but it also feels wrong because this is my travel project. It's just something in my head. Another work in progress is in this cute scroll bag by Eldenwood Crafts, and that I got from my friend Angela, and this is still one of my favorite project bags. I have another finished socks. I managed to finish 3 socks in October, so that's when we called Mojo is back. This is my New Year's Eve cast on of 2025, so I started these this year and I plan to finish them before Christmas because it's my Christmas sock. And here is sock 2, and I made a gobstopper ball after finishing the first one. I had a center pull ball, a cake, and I wasn't happy with it because then I would have to start from the outside, because I ended with green, which meant I would start again with green, but just less rows than this, and it would be like 2-3 rows off, and I didn't want to take out yarn for a full repeat so they would be the same. So I decided to turn the yarn around, and now I am knitting again a green cuff, but now I have yellow, green, white, red, and then the black and green again instead of this one. So I thought that was a fun way of making them different and still make a pair. The yarn is quite deep stash. It is Night Owl Fibers hand-dyed yarn, and it is Fancy Owl, so yarn with stellina in it. I hope it shows a bit. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. And the colorway is called Grinchmas, which is perfect, I think. I still have to see the Grinch. I don't think I've ever seen it, so this year will be time to watch the Grinch. I'm just not sure which version yet, because I don't know what is available to me, which streaming service I'll be having then, and what is on what. Then, in this big bag with others that I made myself, I have something old and made it new again. I had frogged my Garden Gate sweater. I told you about it, I think, many times, that I wanted to frog it. Yes, I skimped on printing and didn't print the front page. But here is Garden Gate sweater by Jennifer Steingass, and yeah, I have restarted it again because I miss it. I wore that sweater a lot, even though it was 10 inches of ease and it looked like a potato sack. It was still a really, really nice sweater. I loved wearing it. I just dropped one of my stitch stoppers apparently and my yarn, so if the cats wake up they'll have something to look at. This is where I'm at now. I've started the color work and I have started the leatherback jacquard. The round I'm working on at the moment is color work and increases, so currently I do not have the brain for it, so I'm working on my Grinchmas socks. And those Grinchmas socks, by the way, I'm knitting on 2.5mm, and I'm doing a 3x1 rib just to break up the plain vanilla that I was doing back then. The foot is plain vanilla, just the leg is not. So yeah, let me take it off before it falls again. This is where I'm at. I have frogged the yarn, but I also had some leftovers, so I started with the leftovers. But this is the yarn I frogged. I put it in balls and I was too lazy to wind skeins, steam it, let it dry and go back to cakes. But look, it's almost no kink anymore already. So I think I'll be fine knitting from the ball. The yarn I'm using, 3 colors of Rowan Valley Tweed that I got from Yarn and Yarns. My lovely friend Angela, who has a, I'm not sure, I think she has her online shop still, but back then she had a brick and mortar store, and I got it when I was in the UK for the Knit Tea Retreat. So yeah, ancient stash as well. And I only have to knit the body and a little bit of sleeve and figure out how to put the sleeves on, because I kept the sleeves and they are half on needles and half not, and I have to figure things out because I cut the sleeves off there's a bit of a fray and needs to be put together again in the right way. But then I only have to graft the sleeves, which will be nice. I'm knitting this on 3 different sizes of needles. Currently the collar work I'm knitting on 4.5mm needles. The body stockinette part is 4mm and the ribbing is 3.75mm. So quite a lot. And that concludes the active whips. So we have reached acquisition time. I know I have plenty of yarn and I don't need to buy a lot of yarn, but when I see it and I like it, I will buy it anyway. But in Finland, I was pretty well behaved because I knew I had to take it home and I had already bought new clothing. They have a few plus size clothing stores and I really needed new clothing because, well, in the past years, I haven't done a lot of shopping because why care? There were other things more important. Then it was souvenir time and orders people asked me to bring. So my suitcase was pretty full and not everything came home with me. I left quite a few things for my friends. They are coming here by car. So they told me they have plenty of space and they will take it with them. So yeah, I had all the space for my souvenirs and new things. And this is what I brought from Finland for yarn, which I think is pretty decent. I have these balls of yarn that were on my list that I was like, okay, if I'm gonna buy something, it's gonna be this. And it is Gepard cashmere lace. 100% pure cashmere. It is absolutely amazing and so soft. This is 25 grams and it is 330 meters. So together I have like almost 1000 meters, which is enough for the lace loop from Lang yarns that I tried to knit before. But then I tried it with a baby alpaca and silk lace, and yeah, I'm allergic to alpaca. So that wasn't an option. I was all in hives and broke out in itchy spots everywhere. So I shrugged that. I sold the yarn. It was like, nope, never again with alpaca. But this seems to be a very good alternative because I can definitely handle this without getting a stuffy nose or anything. And it feels lovely. So I was like, that's light, it's small and portable. And I bought this at Snorre, which is like the yarn store in Helsinki. And I can say, yes, it is probably one of my favorite yarn stores ever. I have 3 now, and all of them I visited in October. Snorre is really nice and bright and amazing selection of yarn. The other one that I visited where I bought it is 2 skeins of Elder yarns, which is self-striping yarn from Finland. And I thought 2 times 50 grams gives me with a contrasting yarn 2 pairs of socks. So yeah, I didn't go for the 100 gram skeins. First I did, but then I was like, oh, but if I take 2 50 grams, I have 2 funky pairs of socks with some contrast yarn. And I also bought the Tuku wool sock in hot pink, which is odd for me, but I really love this. This is a sturdy sock yarn, but Finn sheep isn't that itchy, so it feels kind of nice. It is 80% Finnish wool and 20% biodegradable polyamide, and it is a sport weight, 320 meters in 100 grams. And I bought these at TT2 in... I lost the place where it was. Well, I bought these at TT2, and that was a fantastic yarn store. The little village it is in, yeah, there's like nice and old buildings, and yeah, it was really pretty. And when my friend and I arrived there, she was like, oh, there's knitting royalty, and I was like, huh, what? Because I was looking at where the toilets were. And I actually met Vera Välimäki, and that was amazing, of course. I really like her patterns. I haven't knit much from her yet, but the one thing I did knit, I frogged because my yarn wasn't suitable for it. But yeah, that was definitely fun. And where Snorre is amazing, TT2 was even more amazing. It was a little bit roomier, bigger, more yarn, but also equally kind people, and yeah, just fantastic. So yeah, I brought this home, and I plan to knit socks with these. I even have the pattern already. It is the Russo socks by Anna Johanna. She is also Finnish, so I thought a nice pair of cabled socks were in order. And yeah, so that was what I bought in Finland. I am planning to do a little vlog at the end, and I might even have to make it a separate vlog, like my Finland vlog. But we'll see how long this video will get. Then I also went away with my mom for a few days in Zuidlaren. We've been there before in January, Robbert and I, and in November in 2023 with Robbert and friends. I think I made a video back in January with the pool inside the cottage. So Mom and I went there again. I had a really great time with Mom, and we visited the yarn store in Zuidlaren, het Ria-huis, and I bought some buttons there because our haberdashery here in Enschede is closed. So that is not so nice. But I bought some buttons that people told me these are Kralalien buttons. But let me make sure I don't lose them. And I can show them to you with two hands. There you go. Rainbow buttons. I got 5 of these for a cardigan I have in mind. And I've got 10 of these nice wooden buttons, or bamboo, I'm not sure, with leaves on it. And those are for a cardigan by Anna Johanna. And the other ones are for a Jethro cardigan by Tennis La Valley, which is crochet and knitting. And I bought those buttons at het Ria-huis, and the next day Mom and I went to Wolverhalen, and there I got this whole bag full of yarn. So yeah, go and sit back and just do some shock and awe. Let me take out yarn that is not for me. First I got the whole shredder quantity, but this one is easier to show you first. I have this hand-dyed skein by Wolverhalen, which is number 3 in the top 3 of amazing yarn stores. This is Enkeltje Sock Twist, and it is 75% extra fine merino and 25% nylon, and it doesn't have a colorway. So it is really pretty, it's really nice and soft. And I have no clue what it's gonna be. It just called my name and I had to take it because I love this color. And then I have the yarn for the Jethro cardigan. I have my main color, which is, I think it's a bit of an oatmeal kind of color. It has a bit of gray. It has a bit of brownish. I can see my battery is empty, which is odd because I did charge them. But let me change the battery. Good thing I have 2 batteries. I guess it loses its charge over time. Main color. This is Mota Wool Dreamers, 100% local wool from Spain. And this colorway is Gris Naturel. Yeah, I think it has a little bit of brown beige in it, which suits me really well. I am finally getting into the, okay, I can use gray as a neutral, because my friend gifted me a cardigan which has gray in it, and it suits me really, really well. So yeah, but of course I am still a person who loves color. So I have here basically a neon rainbow. I do also have natural, like just simple natural color, because I also love that, and I think it will be nice as a contrast in the granny squares that I have to make with these. These balls are really big and definitely tightly wound. Well, not as big as my head, but hey. Here are my 6 colors that I have, like the neon rainbow, but that didn't have blue, so I did add a turquoise, which suited it, I think. So yeah, these will become granny squares together with this one, and then the other stuff will be the sleeves and the ribbing and such. So looking forward to seeing that together. And this has a different kind of color of label, so no clue why, but here you can see Mota by Wool Dreamers. I had never heard of it, and I saw it, and she had like a wall of this stuff with all these balls pinned on a wall, and it looked amazing. And it was so nice and light and roomy and tidy. Like, and she has a dye studio, just like, oh my god, so much light and so big. So jealous with my 2x3 meters. Like, you can hardly turn around there. Especially at the moment, because I crammed that room full. And one more thing that I bought is this book by Charlotte Stone, by Stone Knits, Joyful Colourwork Socks, just because I really, really love her patterns, and mostly because I love these, the Pac-Man socks. They're just too much fun. And there's a lot of nice patterns in here. Let me see what I can find. No. I'm looking for the cat socks. Oh, these are also fun. Don't Bug Me with ladybugs. Also very cute. And these with the fishies is also really cute. And the cats are of course on the front already. So she also has one with dogs for dog lovers. So yeah, hopefully I will manage to knit a pair of socks from this one day. So that's acquisitions. Like I said before, I have plenty more, but I will just save that as the box of things I can show you stuff from still. It's like a big plastic bin that is filled with new stuff. Not just yarn, also new embroidery kits and embroidery stuff. So yeah. Fun shopping is definitely a coping mechanism. Like, I deserve this now. Yeah, I do, but things do accumulate. And also some stuff is that I want to support other makers, which is also fun to do. Like on the craft circle and yeah, well, no shop news. Like I said, the shop is closed and I don't know when I will reopen. Definitely not this year. I mean, if you really need something and are waiting for something, just shoot me an email and we'll figure things out. But I do not need the pressure of having stuff in the mail, especially not in December. But also, I don't know what my next day will look like if I am up for going outside and getting something in the post. And yeah, it's just not yet. So that was my cold tea. Personal stuff. Yeah, are we gonna go into that? Probably. Yeah, for those who don't want to hear this, totally fine. We're going to talk about cancer and death and the heavy stuff, probably. It's gonna be a bit much maybe, but some of you might want to hear this. And yeah, I think the story can be told as well. After the craft circle, well, the craft circle itself was fabulous. On the Saturday, Robbert decided to come with, even though he was tired. He was like, no, I want to help you set up. And he's my rock. So he knew that it would help me stay calm. And he had been there all day together with my friends. Lovely Kaya of Lanaphilia and Marloes helped me out. Marloes is my best friend ever since, basically from before we were born. Our moms went to pregnancy class together. So yeah, we always joke, like we knew each other from before we were born. And she helped me out that day. And it was great. We had a really good time together. Robbert did hang in there, even though he was tired and still not recovered from everything that happened in April. And the day after the market, he was definitely knockout still. He was so tired and exhausted, and it was a bit much, but he did enjoy himself. I enjoyed myself on the market day. Kaya helped me out. My friend Rosa came by and she helped me out. So we had it all covered and it was nice. And when we came home, Robbert got us food from the cafeteria. So fries with a snack. And we had dinner, Kaya and Robbert and me. And the week after, Robbert didn't really recover and only got worse. And then the next week he would have had immune therapy and a PET scan. And on that Sunday, before the PET scan, Monday would have been the PET scan, he couldn't do much because of the PET scan, but okay, we kept quiet, we didn't do a lot, but he was still easily overwhelmed, especially by noise. I was like, okay, it's gonna be part of the deal, probably. On Monday morning, he woke up, got his breakfast because he had a late PET scan, so he got up extra early for some breakfast, otherwise he'd have to be without food the whole day. And an hour later or so, he started puking so much. He was like, I really don't feel good. And we tried with meds and anything and everything, and we called the hospital a few times, and kept going back and forth with options that I had to try with him, and around noon we decided that PET scan is not gonna happen and we have to go to the hospital now, and they have to send an ambulance because Robbert is not able to get down the stairs by himself alone. And I can't do it either. He won't be able to sit in the car. He just needs to be picked up by an ambulance. So we went to the hospital by ambulance on that Monday, and we got a scan, and it was bad news. He was bleeding in his brain all over from the tumors. Yeah, they told me you need to stay the night as well. Stay with him. We don't know how long it takes. If it's gonna be a matter of days, if he even gonna make it through the night, or if it's a few weeks. So we stayed in the hospital for those days. Immune therapy was cancelled. Everything was cancelled. And we knew, okay, this is it. It is time, and we need to say our goodbyes sooner than later. And yeah, I stayed the night, and I stayed another night, and then we got sent home. Things were arranged at home. We got a bed in the living room, all kinds of extra help stuff, daily visits from home nurses, basically the works. Also, our GP came by when we got sent home. He was here within an hour after we were home. We had some good talks that were necessary. We didn't know what to expect. We got a lot of friends over. I basically kept visiting hours 3 times a day for an hour, so we could see as many people as possible and it would still be okay for Robbert. And then the first week was over, and we were like, okay, and now what? So the GP came by again. He came by weekly just to check in, and I was like, can we do stuff outside of the house? And he was like, of course you can. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, you're right. True. So we did stuff. We went out for lunch. We called in the help of something that's called a wish ambulance. And we went to the monkey zoo together and had a fabulous day. One of our home nurses said, do it now. Do it as soon as possible, because then you're not too sick to do it and you can still enjoy it. And I'm so grateful for her and telling us that, because that's why we did it as soon as possible. And he had a good day that day, and we were in a heat wave, and that was the first day the temperatures went down, and we were like, okay, we want to go that day because then we can hopefully enjoy it. We had just a few drops of rain and that was it, and we had a fabulous time that day. And yeah, we went out for dinner with the family, which we hadn't done in many years, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna call the restaurant and fix this. When I called, the chef answered the phone and he said, oh, I already did that once before, I can do that with low histamine. And I was like, okay, I should have done this earlier. Damn it. But yeah, we've been to the restaurant twice, made it a weekly thing. And yeah, we did quite a lot of things in Robbert's last weeks. We had 6 weeks from the day in the hospital that everything went wrong until the day he died. Then of course I had to arrange the funeral, which was also amazing. It's probably gonna sound weird for a lot of you, but I had Robbert at home. I know that's not possible in a lot of countries, but it was really nice to have him home, to have home visitors, to say goodbye, and slower letting him go than like he's dead and he's gone. So that was really nice. I was definitely afraid of doing that, but I told him I would keep him home, and he was very grateful for that. He liked the idea of not being in a cooler or something. So yeah, then we had the funeral at the festing bar, which was a thing by itself. It was the first time they did that, and it was fantastic. It felt like home, and it was good. It was really good. It was really colorful, and thank you everyone who watched the live stream and sent me messages about how great it looked. And I have photos, and it just shows how warm and colorful that day was, and it felt really, really good. It was exactly like we talked about, like we planned, like we wanted. So yeah, that was really nice. And then after that, there's that like big nothing. I kept busy. It was summer, so it was nice for me to get out on my bike, visit friends. It was summer holidays, lots of people were available, so I went out for games. I went out just to catch up with people after a long time of not being able to. And I was like, I can do two things. I can dive into that big black hole and just do nothing and just drown, or I can try and go to people, see people, and I don't care how I show up. There have been many occasions that I showed up crying at my friend's doorstep just because, and they don't mind. I don't have to smile. I don't have to have my best face on. I can just leave the mask at home. I can just go as who I am. Not always, of course, but for some friends I can. And yeah, that was really good. People were afraid that I was doing too much, but if I just kept busy, that was a reason to get up and get out of bed. I have toned it down a bit. I do need a few days of rest here and there as well. My body has also been protesting along the way and done weird stuff. Like I had my whole face was red, swollen with hives and everything, and itchy, and my GP said, yeah, I'll just give you some prednisone and let's just taper off slowly so your body can actually catch up, instead of having stress here and then having stress there. Like it dropped too quickly probably, which is pretty normal. I never knew. What else? Yeah, I'm usually an open book, so if you have any questions, just ask me. You cannot imagine how it is until it is, and probably for the best. I have had ideas about how I would go ahead after Robbert would pass away, and it's still different. I did have the idea to keep going and do stuff, but yeah, the feeling that you get with it is definitely overwhelming, and you cannot imagine the feeling if it's not there. So I have learned a lot before already, when my father passed away, that you can have joy and grief at the same time. They just are next to each other. You can still laugh. You are loud without guilt. You can still have fun. You don't have to feel guilty at all about that. But you also carry that grief, and yeah, it will hit you in the most inconvenient moments. It does. Sometimes in the supermarket or whatever you're doing, it just sets off something, and whoa, it goes. So yeah, I did go to Finland, as I told you. I visited my friends. They live close to Helsinki, and they also have a summer cabin a few hours driving north. that was fantastic. It was a summer cabin and it was on a island that is a forest, and like there's 5 summer cabins there and that's it. So you have to go there by boat, and it was my first time on a boat. I'll not lie, I was very anxious about getting into and out of the boat. Like I already saw myself head first into the water, but no, that didn't happen. And my friends helped me, and I was upfront about it, that I was anxious about it. I just had a really good time there. Nature, everything, it is amazing there. I wish I was still there, even though it's very cold and there was an outhouse toilet. I still wish I was there. It was so good. It was so good to be there. And on the way back, it was my first time flying in a business class pod, which was fantastic. What a luxury. My gosh. I couldn't eat the dinner that was there, unfortunately, because they didn't have any info on certain ingredients in it, which the stewardess was like, that sucks. I'm gonna complain about this. And I was like, thank you. Hopefully for a next time, it will actually be fixed. What else? Yeah, I'm gonna see, I might make a separate vacation October 2025 vlog, because it's probably gonna be a lot. Otherwise, I see that this one is also already 20 minutes, so that means that I have already chatted a full hour. That's what you get for not doing this for 7 months. A very chatty Caroline. What else can I say? I'm planning to do Vlogmas, actually. I hope it will help me have a little bit of an anchor in December. I am not looking forward to December, and I am looking forward to December, and it's really conflicting. I set myself up for a little bit of success, I think. I bought a new Christmas tree. Ours was already pretty old, and Robbert used to set it up and put lights in, and then I would decorate. So I bought a new tree with the lights already in to make it easier for myself. I got some advent calendars, and that is what I want to share for Vlogmas. Opening up advent calendars and see what I get every day. I have, let me put this away so I can show you. I have already got the first one. It is from my friend Kaya of Lanaphilia. She made me one. She doesn't sell these advent calendars in her yarn shop. This is a private one. So yeah, that's a yarn advent calendar. I also got Spingodin, her Hobbit Core advent calendar. I have one from Spinspill with fiber, Corriedale with Tussle Silk, and I have a vegetable seed advent calendar, which I'm also very excited about for next year's gardening projects. So yeah, I thought I'd share that on Vlogmas, and I was like, I have to make a podcast before I can do Vlogmas, because otherwise it will be weird not having addressed everything from the past 7 months. And yeah, that. Right, no tears. Okay, they will come later, once this is all done and over. It's not that I didn't allow myself to cry on camera, but sometimes it's nice when you don't have to. What else? Not much, I think. So I will start to say thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon, and I hope you are doing okay. Yeah, send me a message if you feel like it. You know where to reach me. Instagram, Ravelry, email, everything is fine. If you don't want to do it publicly, just send me a DM in those places. And otherwise, wishing you a lovely day, and I hope you get some time to do some crafting. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.